Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character extruder by me. So let's get into it. Childe. Childe was trying to find an agent that worked for the Lily Meleth, and it was really dark. And he was only given a description of that agent. He's never seen them or met them in person, and he was supposed to assassinate them. Which was easy. He was a harbinger after all. And then when he saw someone with that description and pinned them against the wall in an alleyway, choking them. Yeah, that was you. And no, you were not an agent. You were his girlfriend. And it just so happened that the two of you were very similar looking. So you kept struggling against him. And once you noticed it was actually your child, the one that was coming back home to you, you just kept struggling harder against him and told him that you're Ryan. At that moment, he stopped, frozen. You're the agent? He shook your head quickly, coughing, and then he held you up, waiting for you to explain yourself. And you told him you had no idea what this whole agent thing was. And Childe believed you in a heartbeat. He never thought you would lie about anything like that. He trusted you. He got you home, apologized, and gave you many sweet kisses just to make up for it. He felt really guilty, and he kept spoiling you for the entire week after. He just didn't want to hurt you, and it was all an accident. Really. Albedo. Well, there seemed to be some problem at Albedo's work. You didn't know? He just told you to be careful. That's all you got from him. And you nodded. And you kept waiting for him to come back. But then, eventually, when he came back, something about him just felt off. And when you tried to talk to him, asking him what's wrong, repeatedly just trying to find out what it was, he got mad at you and grabbed you by the neck, pinning you against the wall as he proceeded to choke you. Then, all of a sudden, there was another Albedo behind him, and you were just shocked, frozen. Too frozen to even struggle. And soon enough, the Albedo that was hurting you was thrown away. As the other Albedo, your Albedo you assumed, started fighting him. You could only watch in stunned silence. And soon enough, you were going to get an explanation for this. And also some eyes for your bruises, because this hurt a little bit too much. Venti. Well, you were playing together and, doing some spicy stuff after he was drinking. And the two of you came home, and you were enjoying your time. It was pretty swell, actually. And nothing was going wrong at all. Until things just started getting out of hand with Venti. And then, instead of kissing you, he was choking you. He was just grabbing your neck a little bit too tightly. At first it was fun, maybe. It was just a light grab, and you didn't care enough to notice. He was holding on to you. But this? You were not going to last 3 minutes after this. So, after a lot of coughing and a lot of pushing at him to get him to stop, he soon realized what was going on, and he sheepishly apologized, blushing. And afterwards, Venti repeats to drink when you're around, or drink at all if you are with him. He didn't want to have any accident like that, and he wanted you to be careful too. He was kind of worried, and he thought it was real sweet how he was going to sacrifice his drinking habits just to keep you safe. But eventually it just sounded that he's so worried. Then, maybe you should just drink when you're not around, and you would leave him home alone this time. Besides helping him with the basics and coming in the morning to help him with his hangover, which he agreed to. He didn't want to deprive him of his needs after all. Kazuha. Well, this cursed weapon that Kazuha got a hold of. And it seemed like even though he said he could control it, something was wrong. And you didn't know what it was, or just how to solve this problem. And Kazuha just had this weird glow in his eyes, this weird aura. And then, Before you knew it, he was choking you and you were struggling against him, pleading and screaming for help. This wasn't your Kazuha. Something was wrong with him, and he needed help. For you and for him. And fast. Thankfully, Kojo came, and she was able to defuse the situation, getting you away from him. And she was able to get a hold of that weapon. Of course, using the Mika's help, since it was kind of risky, and you warned her from holding it, since you could control her too. And fortunately for you too, Kaza got well soon, after 2 weeks of just recovery and you taking care of him. And you were not going to allow him to play with anything cursed again. If he was going to be upset with you for it, then so be it. Scaramouche. Scaramouche had poor control over his own emotions, and he was used to being physical with people who opposed him or upset him a lot. He wasn't used to being so gentle like this. And being affectionate and this whole thing about being in love and having a partner, it was complicated. It was different. And he wasn't that used to it. He was trying his best, and you could see it. But that was not enough to stop him from doing this. There was this fight about something you didn't know and something you frankly didn't care about. Harbinger problems, and you didn't even care. You only cared about how it affected Scaramouche. And when you tried to talk to him and tried to calm him down, he hit you, and then wrapped his hands around your neck, going to choke you. But upon hearing you whimper, and tell him not to, and cry in front of him, seeing you like this, it really broke him, and he stopped, stunned by his own actions. He apologized over and over, but then quickly left the room. He thought it was unfair for you to have to spend any more time with him when he was like this. He couldn't take good care of you. He would hurt you. He sent you a letter, apologizing, and telling you that you weren't meant to be. He wasn't going to let himself hurt you again. Never. Xiao. Xiao would never actually hurt you on purpose. And this one time he did it. It was just something silly. He told him that people sometimes would choke each other when they were kissing or something, or doing something intimate. And he didn't get it. Not at all. But he tried. And you all know just how strong Xiao was. He didn't know how much force he needed to apply, and perhaps you should have warned him about this. In your defense, you didn't know he would be so forceful, but also, you should have guessed. Then, after seeing how you were just so scared and stunned for a moment, he stopped, quiet, and you could see how panicked internally he was. Are you hurt? Did I do a bad job? He asked. And since it didn't hurt, it didn't even get to hurt because it was just a moment, you shook your head, giving him a kind smile, and telling him you'll guide him more about this. But later, this was enough of an attempt today. You still give him a hug and a kiss on the cheek, offering for him to dine out. And just forget about this. You didn't want him to feel guilty. And thankfully, this blew over quite soon.